Hello everyone, this is Shishir from Captivate, and in this video I'll be talking to you about our project for ECA2161. So what do we have here? We have the Galaxy Nexus powered by the Android OS. As you clearly notice, the screen size is quite huge, and this particular screen is powered by an AMOLED display. It's the characteristic of an AMOLED display to waste a lot of power when you're trying to display something that's bright or white in color, and on the contrary, when you're trying to display that something dark, a lot of power is conserved. So what does this exactly mean? Many of us like to browse the web on our phones. As a statistical figure, I must say that 70 to 80% of the web pages on the net are powered by light color backgrounds, which means they're usually white. They appear white in color, and a lot of power is wasted when we're trying to browse the web. As an instance, let me show you Google here. Okay, here we have the mobile web page for Google. As you clearly notice, there's a lot of white color here, which means the background color, the base color is white here, and majority of the power consumption goes towards the display. So we try to address this issue. Now in our project, we try to transform this web page and replace the white portion with a dark color so as to conserve power. Not only do we bring in the color transformation, but we also try to maintain the readability, which means the aesthetics are not touched upon. So how do we achieve this? The next segment of the video will talk about our implementation. Here we have the Android phone, and I'm trying to access Google web page here. Once I ask my phone to go to Google, it makes a request from the web to fetch the HTML. Well, whereas here in our case, we deny access and the phone is not allowed to fetch the web page. Instead, we redirect this request to a web server. The web server, in turn, once it gets the request from the phone, goes to the web and tries to fetch the same web page. Once the request is made and the web server gets back the HTML, it puts its color transformation algorithm and sends back the color transformed HTML here. But apart from this, we have something missing here. What is that? We also need the parse links. The parse links, which would also mean the CSS files, the images, and the HTML codes. In turn, the phone makes another request to the web server for these files, and the web server goes back to the web and tries to fetch these CSS, PNG files, and the HTML files. Once the web server gets the response from the web and gets all the files that it needs, it runs the color transformation theorem again, and then finally, once we have the complete set of parse links, it sends back the color transformed web page to the phone, and now Google looks like this. So what do we have here? On the left, I have the non-transform page, wherein the majority of the display here is white, and here on the transform page we have dark. So this is how the implementation is, and in the next segment, let us look about how we go about and how our app actually looks like. Here is our application. So what you see here is a simple interface wherein the first field here is the address field where we type the web page address, and there's a go button which also acts like the refresh button. Apart from that, we also have a settings button here, which is an image button, and once I click on that, I get the settings page. So what do I have here on the settings page? The first option would be the color transformation. The user is given the preference as when he wants the color transformation and when he doesn't want it. The next option would be the image configuration. Basically, this portion of the configuration would mean how the images would look on the web page. The first option is the transform images, which means the images are transformed with the same theorem that the text is transformed with. And the second option would be the leave alone, which means the images are not touched and they'd be returned back as in how they are. And the third option is the dim images button, which means the user is given the preference as to set the image brightness based on the seek bar value here. And the last option would be the screen brightness. Based on the user preference, the screen brightness is varied. And once I have all these, I click on the save button and I go back. Let us first look at the normal Google page. Okay, and start typing. So here I have the web page address for google.com, and let us first look at how the normal page looks like without the color transformation. I click on the go button here. Okay, now the phone is trying to access the non-transform page, so that should load up in a minute here. And here we go. We have the normal web page here, which is again quite bright and lot of white content, and the images are how they are. So okay, now we put in the color transformation theorem, which means I go back to the settings page, I check on the color transformation, and I say I transform images, and I set the screen brightness to midway, and I say save. And now let me go back to the same page. Now that I have the web page typed in, let me press on go. Okay. There you go. So here we have the color transform page. As you notice, the background screen is no more white and it's all dark. And also another thing that you notice is all the images are transformed. So which means we're trying to save battery here, and at the same time you also do notice that the readability is still quite intact and the web page is quite viewable. In the experimentation result, as we did this color transformation, we found that we could save power to an extent of 62% on web page like google.com. So there you go, that was the demo of our app, and we do also have an extra additional feature for the UI. Notice here our UI is quite different and it is very minimalistic, which means I don't have the forward and the go button. So the refresh button is taken care by the go. If go is pressed again, the whole web page is refreshed. So what do we do about the forward and the backward buttons? We do have a solution for that. As I just told you, our UI is quite minimalist and we don't have a backward and a forward button. So how do I go forward and back? For instance, just consider this web page where I have this link and I click on it. Okay, so now I need to go back. So what do? I just swing the phone to the left and goes back to the previous web page. In case I need to go forward, all I do is just swing the phone to the right and it goes back to the forward page. So swinging the phone brings about the backward and forward actions. So this answers a solution to the missing buttons. This action is based upon the accelerometer values, and all the user needs to do is just swing the phone based on his preferences. So this is a gesture control option that we provided as an additional feature to the UI. So this is Shishir from Team Captivate signing off. Hopefully you found this video fun and nice to watch, and thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.